answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Welcome everyone to another edition, another episode. This is going to get bombastic because we've had such a week. My superstar co-host Doc Cheatham is with us this week. Doc, say hello to the people.
I'd like to say God bless everyone and happy Black History Month.
And it's still Black History Month. It's still February, even though they gave us the shortest month of the year. But we're going to do what we do, and we're going to have on the show later. He's going to be on the show. He's running for the Republican nomination for mayor of Baltimore City. There hasn't been a Republican mayor, since the 50s? So Michael Moore, not the director, don't get it twisted. not that Michael Moore. Okay, no, Michael Moore, as a Republican, he's running for the Republican nomination. He's going to be our guest a little bit later in the show. We'll be giving him a call. And we'll also be we have a full action-packed podcast today, you all. We're talking sports, politics, corruption, missing records, no records, missing money, raids, forums, and more. So we're going to be jam-packed, and I want to talk about. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. This past Sunday. And I'm gonna say real quickly, and I'm gonna give him props and kudos. My wife and I were invited, and I'm not doing this to name drop. Oh, Sean, you're dropping names, but we were invited to Thuru Vignaraj's new home for Super Bowl party, and he is a quintessential, excellent host. I'm gonna give him that. Great, we had a really great time. He's an excellent host. Treated us like the king and the queen, and we had a really good time. But this past Sunday, everybody watched this WrestleMania. No, I'm sorry. I got the two confused because they're so close. I mean the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 58, and we're gonna talk about that. Doc, quickly, because I'm gonna play a clip. What did you think about? Because you're a big football guy. I'm a big football guy. What did you make of all of that this past Sunday?
This past Sunday, I saw the teacher taking the student to the school again because I think the Ravens were outcoached, and I think it was evident that the fact that they did not make the proper adjustments as you do during halftime. I think that's where the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs has excelled for many years, like the coach of the New England. You make the adjustments at halftime, and I don't think we made the proper adjustments.
Oh, Belichick. Oh, yeah. You know he got fined $500,000 for cheating, Belichick. You know he got fined for that, right? But
well, he's one of the ones that was caught.
Cheating. Yeah, he got caught cheating.
He's one of the ones that got caught.
Yeah, and he didn't have to give his Heisman Trophy. I mean, the Super Bowl trophy back. But, Reggie Bush had to give his Heisman Trophy back. But that's another story. People are treated differently. But let me go with this clip. It gives some insight, and I'm in agreement to this. Actually, I've been saying this for over 20 years. But let me go ahead and hit this clip. Oh, and one more thing. We're going to talk about the event, Mayoral Forum, at Irvington Community Association. They had an event as well. We're going to talk about that, but I had to throw that in. But let me go ahead and hit my cue this up.
Here we go. USA Today's Jared Bell is one of the most respected NFL columnists, a man I've worked with going way back in the day, a man I've known for 42 years, a journalist, not known for overreaction. So I took these words to heart and to the bank when I read them this morning from Jared Bell, who wrote, imagine what the reaction would have been if Terrell Owens had screamed into the face and bumped his coach during a heat-of-the-moment tantrum in the middle of the Super Bowl, or Antonio Brown, or A.J. Brown, or Tyreek Hill? Jarrett continued to write, I'm guessing the reaction would have been much different if a high-profile, supercharged, and competitive black player unloaded on his coach with the same tacky irreverence that Travis Kelce demonstrated with his blow-up on Andy Reid in Super Bowl 58. Instead, Jared Bell wrote, after Kansas City, of course, won a second straight Super Bowl, Kelce was able to laugh off the incident, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes were able to dismiss it as just competitive fire. So, Richard, please, you first. Does Jared Bell have a point?
I mean, yeah, you got a point. You're a black man in America. It's been like that since for a long time, but at the end of the day, in this situation, they won the ball game. That's why it's not a big deal. That's why it's not going to get blown up the way everybody would expect it to any other time. If they lost this game, we'd be sitting there saying that was the reason, that was the breaking point. Hey, this may be the end of the dynasty. That's when the things start crumbling right there. The pressure got to be too much. Was it the Taylor Swift effect? We'd be talking about all that. They won the game. So that's why they get to downplay it. They get to say it wasn't that big a deal. Andy Reid's going to downplay it. But you're right. If it was A.J. Brown, if it was A.B., if it was T.O. back in the day, I mean, we'd be talking about that being a storyline of his career.
That's exactly the way it would be. If that was Tyreek Hill or any black receiver who would have ran into, and let me explain something to people. Let me explain what assault and battery is, okay? Because that's what you witnessed as far as I was concerned while I'm watching the Super Bowl. And I'm going, wait a minute. And I was not going to watch it. The only reason I did is I was invited over, to Thuru's house, Vignaraja. I was invited. I wasn't going to watch it. I said, I'll go and watch it. Assault is the wrong act of causing someone to reasonably fear imminent harm. The way Travis Kelce, bully, he's a bully, is screaming at a senior. You got to understand, Travis Kelce's 34 years old. And Andy Reid is 65 years old. He's a senior and almost knocked him down. Battery, on the other hand, folks, is the wrong act of that's when you actually physically cause harm, like almost knocking over a senior in the middle of a game. And that's a coach. This is a coach. And I want to say this real quick, okay? He's standing on the sideline. Andy Reid's a coach. And here comes this crazy screaming. This is your coach. I played sports. You don't ever do anything like Travis Kelce did. And he didn't get removed. Nothing happened. It was because it was scripted. The whole Super Bowl was scripted for him and Taylor Swift to have this fake kiss at the end of the game and have the cameras on them. So there's no way they're going to remove him because it's a daggone script. And Hank Stram, who was the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs when they won their first Super Bowl, Super Bowl IV, Hank Stram probably would have hauled off and cold-cocked Travis Kelce because he never would have did something like. And the guy, and the offensive line, and the other players, defensive line, whoever was on the sideline at that time, why didn't they go over and yoke? They should have grabbed Travis Kelce and yoked him. The players, to protect their coach. Why weren't the players protecting their coach? You know why? Because it was scripted and they know Travis is going to get the big scene and the NFL is going to make more money and Taylor Swift, teeny boppers and all that stuff. So they didn't even protect their own coach. And Doc, what do you think of this? Because I was severely disgusted at what I saw.
Well, I have a little more insight than I think most. I'm a former Kansas City Chief fan when they first won the Super Bowl. I go way back in support of Kansas City. They were one of the first teams, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, that have a large number of black players. What I do know, and that has been said behind the scenes, is that the relationship between the coach and the player was has been a very, very interesting one. Is it the first time Kelce has went off on that coach and the other coaches? No, it is not the first time. And I think folks need to do a little bit of history to find out how many times have there been incidents like that. This is, I'm not saying I condone it, but this is one of the things that some of the players do, and most coaches will not allow it. But I do know this, it is not the first time, my understanding at least, there have been at least 3 instances when Kelsey has indicated what Tim Brown had to say very passionately, give me the ball.
Okay, so
that's what we had here. We had an outstanding player who was saying, give me the ball. He did it probably screaming and hollering more than he should have. But is this the first time, if you know anything about Kansas City, it's at least the 3rd time that he's went off during the game.
Well, Tyreek Hill would have did that during the Super Bowl, and I'm with these guys, what they were saying on Undisputed, Skip Bayless, Richard Sherman. I don't know, Richard, I wasn't quite agreeing with everything he was saying, but no, that would have been Tyreek Hill when he played for the Chiefs, and he would have did the exact same thing, or any other black player, A.J. Brown, Antonio Brown, or whatever. Man, they would have got, are you kidding? First of all, they wouldn't have had that script for them for Taylor Swift anyway, for reasons I'm not going to get into. But here's what they should do. What you should do is, Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, listen up to me. Since this is nothing but a soap opera to gain more teeny boppers to be a part of the NFL, what you should do is, let me see, have Mark Andrews start dating Lady Gaga. That's a good one. Yeah, Mark Andrews can start dating Lady Gaga, and they can script that for the Ravens to have an AFC Championship game, and Lady Gaga can be there. How's that? I got another one coming up too.
Let's make a sports observation. Let's make a sports observation. Was this the Olympics? And the answer is no. Major League Football, Major League Baseball is about one thing: what? Money and entertainment.
That's what I said.
You were being entertained. This is not the Olympics where really the best players are really trying to do their best. This is a business.
Yeah, it's a business.
We need to look at it as such.
I've been doing that.
That makes money.
I've been doing that for over 20 years. I've been telling people. I had a sports show. Back in 2006, Ultimate Sports Radio. And I was calling. I said, the NFL is scripted. It's about money. This is about money and entertainment like the WWE. The WWE used to call pro wrestling. And then they stopped it. Vince McMahon said, you know what? Let's just be honest with the people. This is sports entertainment. We're here to entertain you so that they can make more money. And Vince became a billionaire off of that concept. Oh, one more thing. Lamar Jackson. Maybe Lamar needs to hook up with Beyonce. Like, she'll break up with Jay-Z, and that's entertaining. And then Lamar can hook up with Beyonce, and then we can have Beyonce come here to Baltimore, and then we can win the next AFC Championship game. I'm just throwing that in. Hey, folks, just throwing that in. That's all, you know. But let me go to the next clip, because there's so much going on. But I'm going to go to this next clip, and it's about what's going on in the NFL.
Go watched my last video. I did a video on the 49ers don't have a chance to win this. And sure enough, I was right. They had no chance. This was a losing battle. Now, the way that the game was, you could say that it wasn't rigged, it wasn't fixed. Now, I can make a debate on that because I think that the calls are pretty good. They're pretty fair. There were some calls that went against the Chiefs, which gave the 49ers momentum, which just made the game a lot more exciting. So, it was designed to be exciting, down to the wire, and it was. It was almost too perfect, because we knew the Chiefs would win. Well, I knew anyway. This was something that was built up the entire season with the whole Taylor Swift narrative, with Jason Kelsey, with Travis Kelsey. It was obvious. Now, from a rig perspective from the refs, it was definitely rigged in other games prior when they played the Ravens. Okay, a lot of calls were called against the Chiefs. Okay. So there was a lot of BS leading up to this game. Now, this game,
you're going to see craziness. It's a Super Bowl. You almost got to feel like it's written in a script somewhere that 3 to 4 mind-blowing plays are going to happen. And I expect the Chiefs to win this game in crazy comeback fashion. It thrives when you have a villain. Ironically enough, have you noticed? The Patriots dynasty ended and then a new one started right after. The NFL needs dynasties because it keeps casuals tuning in so they can hate watch and root against somebody. The modern version of the NFL is nothing but pure entertainment. Like the person said in one of the comments, it's the WWE. You can run from it, you can hide from it, you can do whatever you want, but destiny is always bound to happen.
What do I mean by that? Well, Arian Foster gave us a deep dive into how the NFL truly works.
Now, let me stop this right now, okay? Arian Foster was a Pro Bowl running back. He played for the Houston Texans from 2009 to 2015. He had an injury, came back, played with Miami just a little bit. This guy was a top running back, Arian Foster. So this is what he has to say about the NFL.
On the Macro Dosing Podcast. So take a look at this.
Arian was telling me about how the NFL is rigged and how every year he used to give a script. Day one of training camp that would get dropped off at his locker. And you would have to, it was like week 1 you'll do this. Week 2 you're going to have hamstring injury. Week 3 this is going to happen. Week 4 you're going to get 3 touchdowns. And so then you just have to, did you memorize those before the season started? Would you go and rehearse the script before every game?
We're really dedicated to it. So pretty much if you're not following, and Arian Foster goes into detail as to how they would prepare for the upcoming season. And he would even tell you what practices were truly for. And it wasn't to practice your athletic ability, by the way. Check this out.
That's what practice was about. It was about practicing the script. This is what goes on, and this is what we have to do. And this referee's going to miss this call. Because they hate you and they love the Colts, that sort of thing.
WWF, so it's like,
we know what's going to happen.
you sort of thing. WWF, so it's like, we know what's going to happen.
You still got put on a show.
Yeah, it's scripted. It's about the business. It's about making money. So pro wrestling used to be real. That wrestling was real. It's called shoot wrestling. And what they did is they found that the ticket sales were going down. So what they started doing is they started putting together matches and scripting outcomes, and they started making more money. And that's when it became more showmanship. So that's what the NFL is, folks. For you people, for your snowflakes who think everything is real and there's not scripts behind it, and not just this, boxing as well and other sports. It's scripted. I just wanted to get that out. And that was Arian Foster. Okay? That wasn't somebody riding a pine. Okay? That wasn't somebody who had issues with the NFL and they didn't get enough play time or whatever, didn't make any kind of money. That was Arian friggin' Foster, one of the best running backs in that era in the NFL. Okay? The script, they handed it off. We had to, go over it. The practices were so we can make sure the scripts played out. And I knew that years ago. I was saying that. Doc, quickly, what do you think about Arian Foster's revelation?
Well, I think folks get excited about things that are meant to entertain them. I don't really get that excited about things that are entertainment. Now, I get more excited, I must admit, when I look at the Olympics, because I know these folks are putting their heart and soul in competing. And I don't see the entertainment value that happens in the Olympics. I honestly don't see the same thing when I look at college basketball. Football is a little bit different. There's a lot of money involved in football. The salaries that these coaches make is unbelievable. But I'm telling folks, understand the difference between a real sports event and an entertainment event. And most of what you see on television is entertainment.
Exactly. I am in full agreement. And what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to segue into this because we're going to be calling Michael Moore in just a little bit. But I want to let people know that if you didn't know, you've been living under a rock, that Mayorkas, Homeland Security, right? This is the guy, Homeland Security, make sure the border is protected. They are impeaching him. Congress, the House, have voted 214 to 213. Woo, that's razor close. That's razor close to impeach this clown who's been letting illegal immigrants pour in here like water through a sieve. And people are getting tired. The people in New York, I've heard, and in the Bronx, those black voters are turning on Biden. Woo-wee, they are upset. And this is going on in other places as well. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip real quick. Clip-a-thon. Okay, everyone, here we go. Cue it up.
Begin tonight with breaking news in the House of Representatives. After a second try, Republicans have just voted to impeach DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The razor-thin vote played out along party lines. The margin just a single vote. 3 Republicans voted against the impeachment. In a statement tonight, President Biden is blasting the move, calling it a, quote, blatant act of unconstitutional partisanship. Speaker Johnson, in a statement, said Mayorkas deserves to be impeached. So what happens now? Let's get right to our Jay O'Brien on the Hill. Hey, Jay, this was a razor-thin vote. Talk to us about how it all went down.
Yeah, this was a squeaker. So Republicans needed 214 yes votes to pass this. They got exactly that, 214. No margin for error.
That's not. How can people say, like, we deserve reparations, we should be for reparations and all this stuff, when there's people illegally coming into our country getting a free ride on tax dollars? And we're supposed to support that, and we deserve reparations.
They get reparations.
Literally. We're literally supporting another group illegally coming to our country and benefit from it. And people in our communities, or black people with the victim mindset, have been saying for years, we need freaking reparations, but they want us to celebrate other people getting reparations right in front of us.
People are waking up. The biggest liberal, Stephen A. Smith, y'all see what he said?
Oh yeah.
He said, if this is the bill, we all need to vote Republican.
Yeah, and let me play what Stephen Smith said.
In
Let
America
me play that.
should vote Republican for at least one election. Stephen A. Smith is joining me now. Stephen, who are you trying to send a message to? Republicans, Democrats, African Americans, all of the above?
I go with all of the above. That sounds about right, but specifically the Democratic Party, from the standpoint that I definitely believe that the black vote has been taken for granted, and primarily the black community is at fault in my estimation in that regard, simply because on one hand, we're giving one party our vote because they've successfully gone about the business of convincing our community that the other party, the Republican Party, is completely against the interest of the black community. And as a result, we've been very transparent in our support. We've boarded hook, line, and sinker. We look at the Republican Party. I'm not talking about every single one of us, of course, but vast majority of black Americans look at the Republican Party as the enemy. We look at the Democratic Party, even tacitly, as our support base, and as a result, we are very transparent in our support for them. So because of it, they have a license to take us for granted. The Republican Party has a license to summarily dismiss us because they believe they'll never get our vote anyway, and then we end up finding ourselves devoid of any kind of representation whatsoever because nobody is really competing to garner our vote and our support. So I said what I said because I wanted folks in my community to stand up and recognize that if you go to a house or you go buy a car or whatever the case may be, you don't just see something you want and say, I want that. Tell me what the price is and I'll pay for it. Somebody has to flatter you in order to garner your dollars and your support. I think the same should apply to politicians who represent us.
Boy, right on point. I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith all the time. Pretty much often we agree. But he definitely this time. Doc, what do you think of what Stephen A. Smith said about, hey, just taking a black vote for granted? This is what the Democratic Party has been doing.
Well, I think he should really take it a step further. I think he needs to stay in his lane, which is sports. But I think he needs to take it a step further. Neither the Democratic Party nor the Republican Party deserve our vote. Neither one. Neither one. And I'm saying we got to look at it as here is the time when we need to create our own party. And we have to decide when we vote for someone and when not. And I want to bring up another issue because I paint with a broad brush. We should not be voting for someone just because they have a D and a W meaning a woman, and that should be the only basis. If we don't know what the person stands for, what their voting history is, we should not be voting for a black female in the state of Maryland that we know nothing about. And we're going to vote for her, because she's a black female. I'd be damned. We don't need to do it for Democrats or Republicans. Men, women, whoever. We need to be voting for the best deserving candidate that can represent us. And I pay with a broad brush. For 100 men to ignorantly say they're going to support a woman and 80% of them don't know a damn thing about her or her voting history.
Well, you want to vet people. I mean, I'm 100% agreement. I'm a vetter. You got to look at people, look at the candidates. You can't go because you're a certain gender or race, you get an auto check, and that's it. No, that's exactly how it shouldn't work. And it shouldn't be the other way around as well. You can't say, oh well, because you are experienced, even though your experience is screwing the people and stealing money, and you're a criminal, and then go, oh, gee whiz, we forgive you because you're a black woman, you're okay, go to the church and start hee-hawing, whining and crying, and then get back in. Yeah, I'm talking about Sheila Dixon. No, you shouldn't automatically vote. I name names too. And you shouldn't automatically vote and say, oh, well, just check. Well, she was mayor, but check. The flowers, I love the flowers. She planted so many flowers. I mean, really? So, I mean, Doc, I'm in full agreement. People need to be vetted.
We totally agree, son. You know, when I tell folks, if we got people, 2 people in specific, that are running to become the mayor, one is currently in the seat, one was previously in the seat, we need to seriously look at what is the condition of the state of Baltimore City. And do these 2 people have blame and responsibility? You're damn right they do. What the hell are we doing vote for them and we're in the condition that we're in? It doesn't make sense. We are ignorantly voting and supporting people who put us in the state that we're in. I've never seen Baltimore City this awful. And who do we blame? We must blame the incumbents that are in office and coming back, they want to do us again. You know what?
Yeah.
If you get screwed and you don't say anything, damn it, they're going to screw you again.
That's exactly right. And this is what I'm going to do, because we're going to get into another subject matter, controversial, because that's what we are, the outsiders. We call it straight. And like I said, when I first started this show, I said it. I said, we're here to do 2 things. One of those things is not to make people feel all good and happy and go along, get along, and kiss people's succuses. No, we're here to do 2 things. We're here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and we're all out of bubble gum. So don't whine and cry, people, when we just call it straight. Okay, and what I'm going to do, Doc, now is going to call, I'm going to give Michael Moore a call. I told him I'll be calling him around this time, and we're going to get him on. He is running for mayor on the Republican ticket. He's trying to get that Republican nod. Okay, here we go. Let's give Michael a call. He should be ready. Okay, we're calling Michael Moore, waiting for everything to queue up, the call to go through. But this is an interesting cat, and we want to talk with him.
Please leave your message for 443953884.
Okay, Doc, call Michael Moore. It went to voicemail. I told him we were calling, so we'll move on. Maybe he'll call me back. What is with these candidates?
Maybe he was trying to call you.
No, I know. I literally sent him a text while we were doing the podcast that I'm getting ready to call him, and he said I'm ready. And then let me try one more time. This is when you're doing a podcast. It's not live radio, but we are doing a podcast, which is a recording. So I'm going to call. Here we go again. Michael Moore, Republican candidate mayor. Biggest day.
Please leave your message for.
Okay, Mike, we gave you a try. Maybe he'll call back later. But this is what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about another elephant in the room. This is different. This is an ongoing thing that's been taking place that involves a situation with Moore and what's been going on. Linda Bass. We're talking about Jed Weeks. Jed Weeks is the director of Moore, and he went to Linda Batt's home and took a picture of her home, put it on social media to terrorize her. She is a black woman, disabled, senior, and this is what Jed Weeks did. And I guess he figures, I don't know, what does he think this is? Alabama, Mississippi, you do whatever you want? And he's a Caucasian male. He looks a little bit like Travis, a chubbier version of Travis Kelce. So we're gonna, and this Linda Batts thing, and I'll tell you all right now, what's going on with Linda Batts and myself, I can't get into detail, but there is pending, if it hasn't started already, investigation into the situation. And people are going to discover and find out a lot of things coming up, Doc, when this investigation, or investigations, finish their course. Because Jed Weeks, and I don't know who's with him, who's in cahoots with Jed Weeks. I don't know who's helping him. I don't know who all is involved. But it's all going to come out, Doc. And this Linda Batts versus Marilyn Mosby, there's a situation going on in the black community with black men regarding Marilyn Mosby and how people just ran to her rescue, and rightfully so. I know Marilyn Mosby. Her mentor, Pastor Alvin Gwynn, is a longtime friend of mine. She was railroaded as far as I'm concerned. But Linda Batts is in a situation too where she needs the black men to stand up for her. And the question at hand, which one of these women should black men come to the defense of? And do the black men in Baltimore have the desire and or capability to do so? For both Linda Batts and Marilyn Mosby. Doc, what do you think of this situation? Because I know you have your opinion on this.
Well, I honestly believe, we have the right and responsibility to do what we think is best. But I think in this instance, this is a clear case where we should be able to do both. We ought to be able to chew and walk at the same time. And I don't think we necessarily need to pick and choose. I think both have credible issues that black men should be able to stand up. But I'm really disappointed in many of you black men, especially if a number of you are listening. Because you evidently know very little about civil rights if you don't see the need to also come to the aid and support of Linda Batts. I've said it, I say it every week, and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to say, guys, you're going and eating and talking every day a month. Yeah, that's good. But damn it, do something that's critical, that's beneficial. And I'm saying we don't need to pick and choose. Let's take both. Let's support both of them. Let's not get into a debate as to who is legitimate or not legitimate. Injustices have been done to both of these women, and I'm embarrassed by many of you black men who don't see the civil rights issue that we have with the Batts case. And I'm very disappointed that you purport to know about civil rights, but damn it, for what you have not done, you don't know a damn thing about civil rights in my book.
Whoa, wow. Hey, I tell you this, guys, straight up. Oh, there's Michael Moore. Hold on, we're going to get back to this, Doc. You know what? Let's talk to Michael Moore about it and while we're doing the interview. Here we go. Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Good afternoon, Sean.
Hey, we thought you were going to be a no-go. I called you a couple of times and went straight to voicemail. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm sitting down. I was doing a little running. I apologize for that.
Okay, we got Doc Cheatham, my co-host, on the line as well.
Okay. How are you, my friend? What's up, Doc? How you doing today? Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Well, this is what we're going to do, because when we called you, then we went to our segment on Linda Batts versus Marilyn Mosby regarding black men and their support of either. We're going to swing back to that with you on the line, Michael. But first of all, I want to ask you. You live in Baltimore, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you live in Baltimore, Maryland, and what do you do for a living?
I was a youth advocate. At the current moment, time, I spent most of my time dedicated to the campaign and to get my program back up and running due to, influences from the current mayor administration.
Yeah, we know all about that knucklehead. Here's all about him. Now, here's the thing. This is what I want to get to. You're a fairly young black man, and you live in Baltimore, and you're a Republican. How did that happen?
I was a Democrat at one point in time. I actually worked for the Democrat Party. I used to sell Democrats, and I didn't like the narrative on where they was going. And being that they labeled me one of the best organizers there was, I said, what would be the best thing to do to help my people? And that would be for me personally to go in and grab resources.
Okay. So you were disenfranchised with the Democratic Party and what they were doing?
But not only that, I see how they massacred Trump, and it's like, as a black man, I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
Okay, so the Trump factor was involved in that. When did you become a Republican?
Actually, I just became a Republican. I stopped voting the last cycle. My reasons with the Democrat Party. This time around, I said, I'm not going to not participate. I will put a new face on what I'm doing.
Okay, because on our show, The Outsiders, I've been saying for not just last year, but the year before when the show started, that black men are starting to move away from the Democratic Party because they're just being disenfranchised and they're seeing what's going on and they're pulling away. And you are the quintessential example of what I was what I was saying. Because black men are being disenfranchised. They're saying, wait a second, you guys made all these promises and we're not seeing it. As a matter of fact, exactly. 1994, Biden had what? That bill they were putting black men in prison like it was going out of style.
Right. That's the only career that we can actually have out here. That's not cool.
Wow, that's great. Let me do this, okay? With your campaign, first of all, you got to get the Republican nomination. Win that. What's your strategy on winning?
I've spoken with a lot of Republicans already, and they like honesty, modesty, and truth in a person. So they're very attentive because they want to protect their money, which they should do. And seeing what's going on between the parties, I see why they are. So I'm fairly sociable. I'm out in the community daily, and basically just so many words, giving them my presence, and not only that, showing them that I'm off the same core values.
If you become mayor, let's say hypothetically, because there would have to be all types of alignments to happen. You have to get the nomination for the Republican Party, then you'd have to go against a Democrat, and Baltimore is a Kool-Aid drinking Democrat city. Let's say, I'm just going to do a hypothetical. You become mayor, and you get in the office. The first 30 days, what are you going to do?
That's a good question.
It is, isn't it?
The first 30 days, I would look into hiring practice. We need to run this city at a full city level and not at a private level. Being as the government is one of the highest positions that we can actually hold and the highest classification of work that we can actually do. So I would want to basically fill in those seats that need to be occupied to get the services pushed out to the people a little more faster.
Well, I sent out an email to all the candidates, including you, Michael. I sent an email out. There's a situation going on that if someone who's going to be mayor wants to be mayor, they got to understand that all the financial transactions that take place within the mayor's office and the Baltimore City Council need to be accounted for. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. And that's a good point because I wouldn't allow ATM withdrawals from the bank accounts. No, that's not how we run business. And if you need a stipend in place where you can funnel money from, then under my administration will not be the place for that.
Well, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm glad you said that. I'm going to play a clip because when I have guests on, I keep them for a little bit, and I play a clip or two, and I get their opinion on it. But I'm going to play a clip, and this involves the person that you may be running against if you get the Republican nod, and that's Sheila Dixon. So let me go ahead and play that.
Maryland state prosecutors raided the home of Baltimore Mayor Sheila Dixon this morning and were inside her house for hours, an indication that the 2-year investigation into City Hall spending has widened. State and city police emerged from the house around 1:45 p.m. with several boxes, folders, and a blue cooler they had carried in earlier. For more than 2 years, the state prosecutor's office has been examining spending irregularities at City Hall. The probe has taken investigators to the city's development agency, finance department, and board of estimates. The investigation has so far resulted in 2 guilty pleas, one related to a firm that employed Dixon's sister, and a second related to $500,000 the city paid Dixon's former campaign chairman for work a Dixon aide performed without a contract. Maryland State Prosecutor Robert Rohrbaugh would not comment on the raid. Dixon and her children were at home when investigators arrived at 6:30 a.m., officials said. Reporters and television crews from the region gathered across the street during the search of Dixon's house. Dixon's lawyer, Dale P. Kelberman, said he had not seen the search warrant or any other paperwork presented by prosecutors. He said neither he nor Dixon know what the prosecutors are looking for. Sterling Clifford, a spokesman for the mayor and city police department, said he also did not know why prosecutors were at Dixon's house. City Hall leaders expressed shock at the news this morning.
As a way to say to the citizens of Baltimore that we can do better, we can have more accountability, we can be able to take monies that are given to us from our federal partners and our state partners.
Dixon and Scott aren't the only ones running. Wendy Basel, a Baltimore City teacher and president of the Upper Fells Point Neighborhood Association, is also running. So is Wendell Freeman, a small business owner in the city. Baltimore businessman Bob Wallace may also run. He's launched an exploratory committee.
Yeah, of course they're only mentioning the Democrats running, but we have Michael Moore who's running. Michael, what do you think about that situation with Ms. Dixon, and it had to do with money, finances, financial transactions, the mayor's office?
as Brandon shared, Mayor Dixon shared as well. Mayor Dixon knows that I'm more than fit for this job. I come out of her time, and for the people out there, if they want more accountability, my hands are clean, and I'm not corrupt. I'm waiting. I want things to go my way because I feel like I'm fair enough in the benefit of the people. So it should go my way. As I look at it, I may say only because I have the people's best interest at heart, and not only that, I understand how to operate and function through the body of nonprofit. So I don't really want to put Sheila under the gun yet, but she knows that she knows how much of a worker I am and how much I can get done. I don't want to speak too negative or too positive, but for the most part, it's just like Brandon. She should pass power. She knows what's going on. She's aware. With that being stated, I will digress in my comment on Ms. Dixon.
I won't digress. Michael, let me explain something to you guys because I've been trying to tell you all. You're running for mayor. You can have, a velvet glove on, but there's nothing wrong with having a pair of brass knucks under that velvet glove. You're running for an office. No, call it like it is. Don't sugarcoat.
She's not the most upstanding citizen to talk about accountability. Not at this
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
She's a great person. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy working for her.
Oh, you worked for her.
Yes, sir. I used to work with her for my campaign the last 2 times she moved.
Okay, so you should know her weaknesses.
Oh, that's what I mean. She understands that. She knows that. And she knows I have none.
Yeah, but you should know her weaknesses. If you work for her.
She understands that.
Okay. Because me, when I was a campaign advisor, I'm doing some now. And, well, wait a second. First of all, she's a weak candidate. she's got so many targets that when you're on the stage with her, I mean, she's a shooting gallery. And I mean this metaphorically speaking, of course. But, I mean, just so many weaknesses and holes you can run a Mack truck through.
You know, we can talk about what she has done, but so much from the time that she has done it to now has occurred. And it's time for transition. It's time for new blood, new power to come in, new infrastructure to come in, and, you know, more benefit to our people. The vote for Sheila is still not a vote for them. I am the best candidate at this time that benefits them as a whole collective of people. Okay,
Doc, do you have any questions?
Well, first, we're honored to have you on our show.
Yes, we are.
I'm glad I've had opportunities to have some very lucrative discussions with you and look forward to some in the future. But ironically enough, there's one area that I think the Democratic candidates and Republican candidates, y'all are on the same page in one particular area, and I'd like to hear, have the audience hear what your position is on an issue that there seemingly is some commonality in Democrats and Republicans. And the issue is having resource officers in Baltimore City to be able to have their arms, their guns, while they're in school. We are the only jurisdiction in the state of Maryland where the resource officers cannot have guns. We have to put ours in the locker. And I'd like to know, what is your opinion there? It's a bill, Senate Bill number 819, I believe is the bill that's coming up at the end of this month. And ironically enough, the majority, there's 17 of y'all running, and the majority of y'all, ironically, both Democrats and Republicans support us passing that particular bill. I currently don't, due to the nature of the safety of the kid, first and foremost. But I also wouldn't, I spoke with kids who's attended schools, and they had numerous occasions where officers misused the force. So, to regulate that as well, I would like to put cameras in the school. That would be only fair for the youth, so as well as for the protection of the officers to protect the youth. So you saying you would like to have both? No, I support them carrying their guns inside of the school. Oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
If something happened like what happened at Walbrook, the officer wouldn't be able to go to a lockbox. Depending upon where a gunman is, we got to be realistic with time. And that's not realistic to say our kids don't need to be around guns. No, they already are around guns. And as we see through the youth crime, the spike of the youth crime, they are using guns. So it's not a threat. The Bible itself says that these men who bear these swords do not bear these swords in vain. And, you know, just like in Texas, when you see another man with a gun on his hip, and even if you have one on yours, y'all learn some respect and you learn some boundaries and borders real quick. And not saying that to instill fear in our youth, but saying that, you know, to protect the youth, definitely. And if it's not being misused on the youth, then definitely, I'm definitely for it.
Okay, Doc.
Mention the comments.
Oh, okay.
Mention the comments.
Now, this is what I want to do. Okay, we were in the middle of talking about Linda Batts and her situation with this Jed Weeks character at Baltimore, and Marilyn Mosby. And which one of these women should black men come to the defense of, and do the black men in Baltimore have the desire and or capability to do so for both? What do you think about the situation as far as black men coming?
I have no good words for Ms. Mosby. I'm in the community, so I know the truth. I've spoken with police officers, I've spoken with chaplains of the police department. I know how the stage of Freddie Gray went, and when I say stage, they are so corrupt that they actually know how to make us herd up as sheep and run to their arms as well as they create the disasters. It's so wrong in so many ways. Even to right now, which Freddie Gray's mom being in debt for $4 million extra dollars, that don't even make sense. Linda Batts, her situation is what we are speaking on. Because with Mosby corruption and play like that, this goes to show this is a margin on where our politics think. And not only our politicians, but our business think. They all like to enforce. But what happens when you enforce something with someone that's not afraid to fight back? And that's also what you're getting in Baltimore. And Baltimore, as they know, are not afraid to fight back. But for him, for a business to use their power, to misuse their power, to slander an individual, as a mayor, I don't know where the funding would come from, but they wouldn't be receiving it.
Okay, so what you're saying is that with Bikemore and Jed Weeks, first of all, we called for him to be fired post haste immediately, and they're coming to his defense and his rally and keeping him.
There's no defense.
There is no defense.
When you put a person's livelihood in jeopardy over a Facebook post, the same situation with the rapper out there in California when they posted a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, and he was dead in a matter of minutes. That's not something that need to be taken lightly.
No, it doesn't.
That's not professionalism in the business world. And once again, we in government. So we're in government. We at the highest. We got to be professional at the highest as well.
Well, I'll say this much about the Linda Batts versus Marilyn Mosby. I know Marilyn Mosby. I know her mentor, good friends, Pastor Gwen. Know the people who are at the Baltimore Police Department, and they explained some things to me too, as well. I was in the mortgage business. I was in mortgage finance and so on, real estate for a while, 18 years actually. So I know what I'm talking about. She was railroaded. That's what I believe. I know people believe differently. I believe that. Now, this is what I believe as far as Linda Batts and Marilyn Mosby and the black men, specifically black men coming to the aid of black women who are. Linda's situation is a little bit different than Marilyn because Linda's disabled, which Marilyn isn't, and Linda is a senior, and Marilyn isn't. And Linda wasn't doing anything, minding her own business. So I believe that black men have the capability, I don't know about the desire, but they have the capability to do both. You can defend Linda Batts and Marilyn Mosby. Stop whining and crying about Doc. Oh yeah, I know, I'm talking to certain people out there. Well, I don't like Doc because Doc, I don't agree. He said Marilyn Mosby, it wasn't important with that Batts, and Batts should have been more important civil rights in the civil rights setting. And I'm going to agree. Civil rights wise, Linda Batts has got an edge on Marilyn Mosby as far as civil rights. As far as being railroaded by a situation.
I'm not taking that she was leaning upon people who was prosecuted that wasn't part of Safe Streets little organization. So I really don't have any mercy for her at this time. But Linda, my heart goes to because that was totally uncalled for.
Okay, let's do a hypothetical real quick because I know you don't have much time. Hypothetical. Marilyn Mosby actually was railroaded and you're not, let's say hypothetically, as a black woman, you found out she was actually railroaded. Hypothetically. And you have Linda Batts' situation. Do you agree that black men could defend both?
They can defend both, but it would be oxymoronic to defend both.
Why would it be moronic to defend both women if...
She was a district attorney. She was going around the country screaming Black Lives Matter and persecuting black men, robbing them from the Jews.
No, you're not. You're changing my hypothetical situation. My hypothetical situation, see, you're changing it. My hypothetical situation is, don't change the hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, everything with Marilyn Mosby is an agreement with you. She didn't do anything wrong. They were going after her. Hypothetically. And Linda Batts' situation is the same. If hypothetically, could the black men defend both? Okay, so they have the capability to do both, and they can't just pick one and say, okay. See, that's all I wanted to know, because I truly believe that black men in Baltimore City have the capability to do both, and they need to stand up for Linda Batts.
Even though you hypothetically,
but here's the thing, and this is what we want to stress, is that the black men in Baltimore City when it comes to Linda Batts' situation, have fumbled the ball. Don't lean over and say, well, we were defending Marilyn Mosby, or well, we don't like this person said that, or Doc said this, or Sean said that, and we don't like that. What in the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China? What does that have to do with anything? You still defend Linda Batts? That doesn't even make any sense to me.
As a community president, she played a more vital role at this time, because her role can be crucial enough to affect Mrs. Mosby's role. And if she can deal with the youth as well as the adults, as in a circulator with their own community organization, it would never make it to the district attorney.
Well,
so, I definitely count it as that as well. And Miss Linda plays a vital role in the community that definitely should have the community support.
Okay, Michael Moore, do you have any information you can give the people?
You can reach out to me on all my platforms, More for Baltimore. You can email me More for Baltimore. I have a website that I haven't published yet. I'm not so tech savvy, but it will be coming soon. For the most part, definitely see what I've been up to, see what I have going on, and see how I best influence the people. Not only that, somehow I want to bring more to Baltimore.
More to Baltimore. That's my family name in Philadelphia, the Moores. So that's my family name. But Michael Moore, thanks for being on The Outsiders and being straight up, telling it like it is, what you want to do for Baltimore City and your opinions of things. And thanks a ton.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, one of you guys, I need a favor. Get me Reverend Alvin's number. I need his number.
Pastor Gwynn?
Alvin.
Alvin Gwynn, that's his name.
Oh, that's his last name? Okay, yes, definitely do that. I need his number.
Okay, we'll talk after the podcast.
Okay.
Okay, take care.
All right.
Bye-bye. Hey, Doc, he was something else. That was an interesting interview.
I found that he is very straight up with his answers, and I find that commendable. You know, that we're all not going to agree on issues.
No, definitely not.
And candidates, but I think we have a responsibility to try to be as candid and honest as we can when we're running for an office, and you want people to make a decision on whether to vote for you or against you. You know, I find Michael, you know, it's straight up. Now, I don't agree with all of his positions, but I find that he is straight up. And, you know, I had a chance to have some discussions with him. And, you know, I appreciate the candidacy, the candid part of how he's so candid about things.
Well, I do as well. Like you said, I learned one thing in life. If you think that you're going to go through life, and whether the person is a friend or a family member or a parent or a sibling or whatever, or a mentor or a student or whatever, and you think that you're going to agree with everything, no. And if you don't agree, here's the thing. Get over it. Move on. Focus on what's at hand. Linda Batts needs the black men in Baltimore to stand up for her and be real men. Like Doc Cheatham, like myself, like Wendell Freeman, who went down to City Hall and spoke with Nick Mosby. I was there. Doc, you saw him. Doc.
Yep.
Yeah, you saw him. Okay, I'm just making sure. Be a real man.
Well, not only did I see him, I was the one who asked him to come off the stage and talk to us. Because there were a number of us that came to hear a hearing where this guy was supposed to be a party agenda, and he was taken off of the agenda. But I would say one additional thing, I made a phone call to the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield, who serves on that board of directors. And I'm saying anyone that's listening, if you believe in the fight that we have to bring justice to Linda Batts, then you need to call Blue Cross Blue Shield and ask for the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield and ask her to get this man off of being the chairman of Baltimore. You know, he has perpetrated an injustice on many of our parts, and we're saying, you you know, for you to serve on the board, we think we need to question you as to what you're going to do about it as a black woman.
Oh, and remember, there's an investigation going on about this. Now, you all thinking you're on your boards and you think you're hot stuff, and I'm trying to tell you, dumbbells, I don't care about your boards. I don't care what board you're on. I don't care what I don't give a rat's. All I know is you got a guy, Jed Weeks, who's in trouble. He's in a situation. And you all are on the record by not doing anything. That's the city council as well. Every single one of you on the Baltimore City Council, every one of you. You're on record when this all hits the fan showing that you didn't do anything. So let history judge you. I'm going to get to what happened, and this was interesting, Doc. Doc wasn't there, I was there, and it was the event they had, the Irvington Community Association had a mayoral forum, and there were, I saw the email of the candidates who confirmed, and all the candidates who confirmed that were on the email, all of them showed up except one, Doc. Guess who didn't show up, even though I'm giving you a hint. I'm giving you a clue who it is. She didn't show up. Guess who didn't show up? And she confirmed.
Well, I would guess it would be two. I would say it would be Brandon and Sheila.
No, Brandon didn't confirm. Sheila did.
Okay.
Yeah, Sheila Dixon confirmed that she was going to be at the Irvington Community Association event, a mayoral forum, and I'm saying to myself, okay, what's going on? Doc, I'm going to give you some figures.
You said she confirmed
with them.
A confirmation to the organization that was hosting the event?
Yes. Yes, she did. And I have the email. I'll send it to you. Okay. Now here's the thing that I've noticed, because I'm a numbers guy. Excuse me, producer, they can hear you. Write it down. I'm getting some notes. Write it down for me. Something I need to say. Okay. Now here's some numbers. Little Italy. Little Italy has a population of 746 people. It's 65% white, 13% black, 10% Asian. Charles Village has a population of almost 7,000, and it's 47% white, 21% black, 17% Asian. Now, Sheila Dixon showed up at those forums, town hall forum events. She showed up there, and I noticed something. I said, okay, 65% white, 47% white. Okay, that's interesting. Then I looked at the events, Doc, she didn't show up at. Loch Raven, Friendship Baptist Church. And I looked at the numbers. Wait a minute, that's population of Loch Raven, area of Baltimore City, 5,787 people. Okay, that's a good number. 91% are black. Whoa, wait a second. 5% are white. Then she didn't show up at the Irvington Community Association. 85% black, 7% white. 3,980 people. Now, combined, Loch Raven and Irvington Community have more people than Little Italy and Charles Village. Doc, do you see a parallel here with Sheila Dixon showing up at events with their higher Caucasian population and not showing up at events when you have 85, 91% black population and her not showing up? I mean, does that...
I would say this, it must concern those of us that are of African American descent. Is she trying to send a message that she's going to be dependent upon the white vote as opposed to the black vote? And that's what on the surface that looks like. But you know, it won't be the first time that we've had some major injustices done by black candidates who basically, I guess, putting their thumbs up, well, not their thumbs up, but they're basically saying they don't give a damn about the black vote. And I wonder whether or not this is the beginning of the campaigns that are showing us where the folks stand. You know, are they with the community in general, or are they for white folks or black folks? And I think they should be with the community in general.
I believe that as well. It's a really bad look. It's a really bad look, what's going on. And your campaign manager, see, I do campaign advising, which means I work with campaign managers. And this is something that somebody who's experienced and knows what they're doing would pick up. You can't just keep going to events where they have high white populations, Caucasian populations, and low black populations, and go to those events and then stand up, give the middle finger to the black community, and not go to events where there are high number, 85, 91% black population, and then don't go there, and you're black. You're a black woman.
Well, the same thing happened to Charles Village. You know, we did see her, the mayoral candidate as a former mayor. We did see her at Charles Village, but we do know that they are majority of the Caucasian persuasion.
Yeah, it's just it's just unusual for, I believe this was Tuesday, February the 13th was the event. February 13th, this past Tuesday. And
I'm sorry I didn't know about it.
oh, I thought you knew. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought.
No.
Wow, I thought you knew. But, well, I won't let that ball fumble again.
I try not to miss too many things like that.
Exactly. But, you know, they did, the candidates who did show up, I think they did a good job. Bob Wallace was there. Wendy Bozell was there. Kevin P. Harris. I'll name them. Wendell Freeman. Through Vignaraja. Yolanda Pulley. Donald Scoggins. Okay. They were all there, and they did a good job.
What about this young lady? I have not met her, but I do know she was, I assume she was officially filed at that point, Miss Shannon Wright.
No, she wasn't there. She didn't, I don't think she got an invite. Maybe it's because she had filed, you know, so late.
Filed late?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she wasn't there, but I'm just putting that out. It looks like the Sheila Dixon campaign is a tale of two cities. Charles Dickens. It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times. And I don't know what's...
I'm really waiting. I'm waiting for someone to hit Sheila Dixon with the question that she seems to be avoiding, and that is, what role did she play when over 100,000 black men in the city of Baltimore was arrested when Martin O'Malley was the mayor? What position, if any, did she take? Was she in silence and let black men get arrested? Or did she go along to get along with Martin O'Malley? I've yet to hear her say that. I'm the one who filed that class action lawsuit on behalf of the NAACP because they were literally locking up black men without justification. And I have yet to hear her address her position on that issue if she's going to tell the truth about it.
Well, Doc, when I get the chance, I'm going to ask that question, or maybe somebody else will ask that question of her. But she might,
maybe
you know.
One of these many black men that got arrested, and some of them still have arrest records.
Well, if she's on the stage, hopefully she won't run off before I get a chance to ask her the question. Hopefully she won't run. Oh yeah, Sheila. Hey, listen here. Listen, my dad, he was in the martial arts. My dad boxed for the Army, and I know some things myself. Wink, wink. This is what you need to do after what I saw that happened at the Irvington Community Association, and you said that you were going to be there, and you confirmed, and you didn't show up. What you should do, honey child, is you should take that black belt that you've got, dip that some in yellow paint, okay, so it can match the yellow streak down your back. That's what you should do with it. Because your sensei, if he or she is alive, if they're not, they're turning in their grave. What a cowardly act. It's just 2 cowardly acts in a row. You run off the stage like chicken little, the sky's falling, run off a stage, and then the next event, you say you're going to be there, and then you don't show up. Because, like I said, take that black belt and dip it in, take spray paint, paint, whatever, find some paint, yellow paint, dip it in that yellow paint, spray paint it yellow to match, I'm going to say it again, the streak down your back, okay? Because this person wants to be mayor? This is a joke. Now I'm going to get to, what's going on with the law department. The law department, Baltimore City Department of Law. Doc, I know you've dealt with these numbnuts. Unfortunately. Yeah. Mr. Sims. This is from Aaliyah Knapp. I mentioned her last week, legal specialist. I guess that's another fancy name for paralegal. Mr. Sims, please clarify what records you are seeking when you ask for all fees that were paid by the Baltimore City Council. And the Public Information Act, you have the Freedom of Information Act. You can get this information as a citizen of the state of Maryland or a citizen of Baltimore City. You can request information from your government. People, did you know that? So that's what I'm doing. And I answer her. Let's start with the Circuit Court for Baltimore City. That's just the start, Aaliyah. Nah, that's a start, okay? Let's start with the Circuit Court for Baltimore City. Any monies paid to this state agency in fees. Hey Doc, did you hear what I said? I said in fees, right?
In fees, yes.
In fees.
That's an important issue.
In fees. And then I use an example, you know, just in case, an example or examples would be any type of recording, filing, etc. fees. Now this is what I'm asking of this young lady, and then she sends this to me. Here's the response. Good morning, Mr. Sims, the Baltimore City Council, in receipt of your updated records request below. This request is governed by the Maryland Public Information Act. Yes, I know that. Codified Section 4-101, etc., etc., etc. And then she has one sentence, separated from the previous paragraph. City Council has no such records regardless. Doc, you're killing me. That's okay. You got a cold? You got to go. Look, City Council has no such records regardless of the time frame requested. So this is what she sends back. So I'm going, okay, that's interesting. We got a little thread going. So I send an email. Now I want people to follow this, okay? I send an email regarding these fees. Baltimore City Council. Okay, what is going on with these fees? You don't record them? What other final transactions don't you record? Good afternoon, Ms. Rupp. Judy Rupp is the state court administrator, so she's the top ahead of all the circuit court clerks, the clerks of the court. She's the top person. Then you have Nick Mosby, and you have Washington Conaway. That's Xavier Conaway. He is a clerk for the circuit court for Baltimore City. So the Baltimore City Council, and this is what I'm saying, has no such records regardless of the time frame when it comes to fees being paid to the Maryland Judiciary Circuit Court for Baltimore City. What other fiduciary and financial transactions, have not been recorded? Now I'm asking that question to Ms. Rupp, Nick Mosby, and Mr. Washington Conaway, Xavier Conaway, clerk of the court. Each of you have been carbon copied, have a responsibility to look into this troubling situation, because I carbon copied several people. Now, this is what I get back, and people are going, what is going on here? Yeah, what is going on? Maybe the citizens of Baltimore City need to start asking more questions and stop taking all this crap. And maybe y'all need to start asking questions? Wake up. Now, this is what I get. Now, Doc, you're going to find this interesting, because I didn't even let Doc know about this. Doc, I'm letting you know about this now. This person, Hillary Ruley, that's her name. Hillary Ruley, she She's the general counsel? What is her title? Because she's the counsel for the Baltimore Law Department. In other words, she's a bigwig. And this is what she sends to me. M. Sims. First of all, what kind of crap is this, Hillary? Is this how you respond to people? Is this how you respond to citizens? There's no salutation whatsoever. Good afternoon, Mr. Sims. So let me teach you, young lady, how you respond to people. Okay, that's how you respond. If you start that way. Then she goes, it would behoove you to know that governments in Maryland, I don't know who this woman thinks she's talking to. Governments in Maryland generally do not pay filing fees as a matter of state law. Maryland Code, so-and-so, Judicial Prof, so-and-so, -7-202B. Doc, how do you like that answer from the Chief Counsel of the Baltimore Law Department?
I would suggest one additional trial on your behalf, and I commend you. You've done an admirable job asking for some very, very critical information. I would give her 2 or 3 examples of what fees you're interested in. There might be different categories. To give her an idea, kind of point her in the right direction if she's not totally understanding or comprehending what you're asking for. I would give her 2 or 3 examples. For example, this. For example, that. Maybe that will steer her or her staff in the right direction.
You are very, you are very lenient. I did. That's why the first I did on February the 5th. She asked, okay, well, what are you talking about? Because there's going to be other agencies other than the Circuit Court for Baltimore City. I'm starting with them. And then I say any monies paid to this state agency in fees, for example, would be any type of recording, filing, etc. fees. They can go look at the fees that they paid.
I didn't hear the rest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why? Yeah, then I think you asked the hard questions. I really do.
Now her answer, and we're gonna get off of this just in a second. I just want to let people know what's going on so they understand what's going on. How they, and this is the chief counsel, okay, for the Baltimore City Law Department, Hillary Ruley. It will behoove you to know that governments in Maryland generally do not pay filing fees. Now she went and she focused on one fee when I gave an example of 2, and I asked for monies for all fees, just using that as an example. She didn't say anything about the other types of fees. I'm sure there are attorney's fees. I'm sure there are all other types of fees that are involved. So why is she sending me this ridiculous, I mean, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be straight up, Doc. I mean, like, what kind of bubblehead? This is insulting. This is an insult to my intelligence. Is this the way they treat people? Is this the way they talk to people? Well, look at here, Hillary Ruley. I don't know who you think you're talking to. I don't know who you think you're dealing with. Don't come to me with these dumbass answers. Do not insult my intelligence, because you piss me off, frankly. I don't care what chief counsel you are with the law department. You come back to Sean Sims and you come back to the outsiders with this stupid ass answer, and you see, and I don't know if you can read, because I asked specifically, I just gave an example, but I asked for all fees, then I gave an example, some specifics, and used the word, the abbreviation, etc. You know what that means, don't you, Hillary? Okay, don't you? So next time I engage you, bubblehead, next time I engage you, come back with an answer that makes sense. Who hired this woman? I tell you what, one of these people gets in as mayor other than Sheila and Brandon, you need to get them out. I'm going to go to them and say, you need to do something about this Baltimore City Law Department. Please, please. This is how they roll? This is insulting. What's going on with the fees? What's going on with the financial transactions? And I'm going to be giving Bill Henry a call. I'm already in correspondence with Isabel Cumming, the Inspector General, okay? And this crap that goes on in Baltimore City, hopefully get another mayor in other than get Brandon out of there. Get him out. out. And do not let Sheila back in. Don't let the fox, the wolf, back into the hen house. And we can move on and make the city a better city and a safer place, and get out from the dark side of what's going on. Doc, do you have anything else? Because I think I've said all I need to say.
Well, we are going to an event today, and it's basically the Bureau of Recreation and Parks is beginning to, I guess, get comments from the residents in a part of Baltimore City that's going to create a skateboard park. So we're, of course, going to venture out to their area this evening and let them know that we strongly support the building of this skateboard park in this part of Baltimore. But we are going to lay down the table that we think that Antonio Hayes, the state senator, has done a grave injustice to black people in general and poor black people in specific. The same person that filed complaints against the squeegee boards seemingly has a problem trying to help black people and black children stay out of trouble by enabling them to have a skateboard park.
Wow. Wow, that's terrible. Well, we know there's one candidate who doesn't want to do forums in black areas. We know that, Sheila Dixon. But it's been a good, interesting show. And Doc, here's the thing. I had more I could have talked about because there's so much going on. I touched on Mayorkas.
You had so much on the plate. I'm surprised you got as much done as you did.
Because there's so much going on, and then you have this Fannie Willis, who's the Atlanta DA, and she's falling apart, and $700,000 she gave this guy, and she's sleeping with him, and he's married, and divorces and craziness going on. Looks like they're going to kick her off as the DA in this Trump case. She's going to get booted.
I think that is what's going to happen. I think there are too many unanswered questions, and the easiest solution is to start a new trial.
Yeah, she's going to get booted. That's become a joke. Oh, embarrassing. But folks, thanks for listening to and watching The Outsiders, where we give you the inside information. Don't get it twisted. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing, letting the people know what is really going on, what's really happening. And Doc Cheatham, Sean Sims, two straight shooters. And we call it like it is. Doc, thanks for another great show.
God bless you. Thanks for having me as usual.
And I want to let everybody know, God bless. Take care. We'll be back next week. Take care.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.